Welcome to Mornings with the Mayor. As always, we always have our special guest. Today is no exception. We have John Butler, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Bucks County Water and Sewer. John, a pleasure to have you here today.
Good to be here.
Good to talk. I know we have a lot of things that we can put out there, a lot of programs that people know about, things that they don't normally hear.
Right.
And hopefully we can give them a lot of information. And certainly their email will be at the bottom of the show after we talk. If you want to get back to them, and there'll be a phone number there, so they'll answer any questions that you don't think we hear today. You can always call. They could do that anyway at any time.
That's correct.
John, there's so much going on. It's the whole county, certainly, and I know you even have part out of the county, and it's a tremendous job with water and sewer, especially today. I'm so grateful that we sold ours because of all the regulations that come almost daily. New things that had to be done, and the water lines and sewer lines that had to be replaced. So I know it's a big job. It's an incredibly big job. So we want to talk about some of the things. You have new programs I know you want to talk about. There's a lot of other things I want to ask you. You give us updates on them and how it's working. I guess the first one, a very important one, is something that's brand new at Bucks County Water and Sewer, and that's the lateral maintenance program. So why don't you take over, John, and tell us about it.
Basically, what we started is in the last month, we developed a program for folks to join a program that allows them to, with a $5 fee for their sewer line or a $5 fee for their water line, to cover any maintenance or repairs from their house out to the street. This is something that most people don't think about until something happens. And the expense, especially with a sewer lateral, if it has to be dug up, could be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. This program basically will allow that homeowner to sign up, and then if they have a problem, they call us. If it's routine maintenance, we'll come out, take care of it for no charge, as long as they're in the program. If there's a major repair or something that requires excavation, we will come out, do that excavation, and the customer will then be asked to contribute $500 towards that cost, which again could be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
And that's the only cost it could incur.
That is the only cost.
In case they had to do
Correct.
excavating.
Right, and they're allowed up to 2 occurrences of that type of repair every year. So it covers it not just one time, but if it happens again, if there happens to be a break, especially if someone has a long lateral, this will allow us to come back out, do it again, and still be able to save them a tremendous amount of money.
So the most it could cost someone with a major dig up or whatever has to be done, even if it's replacing the line?
Correct. Correct.
It would be only $500?
Correct.
Only $500. And that's both water and sewer?
Right, it's water and sewer.
But for $5 each?
Right, per line.
Per line.
Yeah, so, and if you have a property, commercial properties can also do it, but theirs is $10 per line. And if you have multiple lines on your property, you can insure them individually.
Explain lines.
If you have a sewer line, when you flush your toilet, everything goes out to the line, assuming it's in the street. Some people have a little stack with a little mushroom cap in the yard.
Okay.
That's the sewer line. The water line is, sometimes you can see where it is, where it's what they call the valve to shut the house off and on.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually out near the curb. From there to the house is a private line. That's owned by the homeowner. And if you have a pinhole or you have a leak, you have to hire a plumber to come fix that, which could run you, hundreds if not thousands of dollars, again, just like the sewer line. With this maintenance program, we'll come out and do that. And again, the charge is only the $5 per line per month. And then if there's an excavation, $500 towards the cost of the excavation.
Let me make it perfectly clear so I understand it, and hopefully everybody that's listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's $5 for water per month.
Per month.
$5 for sewer per month.
Correct.
So the only cost could be incurred is excavation.
Correct.
And that could go up to $500.
Right, $500 per line.
Per line.
Right.
Now, it doesn't go past $500?
It does not.
That's it.
That's
could it be
it.
lower than $500?
It could be, but usually if we get excavation, you're talking about equipment, there's usually a minimum amount of money that's going to be spent. Just like when you have a plumber come out, there's always that minimum cost of overhead that has to be incurred.
So I guess what I'm hearing, that if you took one, your water, it would be $60.
Correct, for the year.
For
Correct.
the year. If you took both, $120, obviously.
That's correct.
For both.
Right.
I can tell you, on the maintenance end, you can get in some serious dollars.
You can. You can.
Is that if the line's clogged, they come out?
Yeah, if we have a problem, there's terms and conditions on the website you can look at, but basically, if there's a clog, roots, a collapse, whatever, we'll come out and we'll take care of it. That maintenance fee covers that. especially if it's just a basic blockage, like something fell down there, and we can clear it by plunging or just having somebody get something out of the line, there's no charge at all. We just come out, we take care of it, and that's it. It's covered under the maintenance program.
Well, I think both of us know how expensive that is to call a plumber to come out.
Absolutely.
I don't think a plumber comes out for less than $75.
Right, right.
Just come out.
Right. The basic charge, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I want everybody, again, their website will be on there, their email and telephone number. It's brand new. How old is the program?
It's only been out, we've just started this in the last month.
In the last month. So it's something you'll all want to look into. And any questions you have, I'm sure, as John said, there'll be plenty of people to answer your questions. And is there a time limit when you can join?
No, you can join at any time, and if you can go on the website, or you can call the main number, which is 1-800-222-2068, and just ask for customer service, and they will basically give them all the information. You can sign up over the phone if you want.
Okay, and can they do it on email?
They can do it on email, they can do it on the website, they can get a form, they can download the form and then fax it back if they like. There's multiple ways to do it.
John, I think you left some of these here, didn't you?
Yes.
If Darren, you want to pull in on those so they just get an idea of what they're looking at. These two pamphlets will give you, one's water and one is sanitary sewer.
Right.
So these are here at the township. You can pick them up here, or certainly, like you said, go online and all the information's there. But I think it's something that you'll really, really want to look into. It could be a real savings there.
Absolutely.
As somebody that's had their lines dug up and knowing the cost of that. So great program. I think, did it go out with the bills?
I don't think it did at the last billing.
No.
It's just so new that we haven't had a chance to put it in the billing. You
Well,
should see it, yes, you will see it in the billing.
You will see it
Yes, you will see it in the
your
billing.
bill. Good news in your bill.
Yeah.
Right?
It's always nice to get good news in
Good
the bill.
news in
Yes.
your bill, right. Let's talk some other things now. We've got that done. The lid vent replacements, people have a problem?
Yes, we're going around. There's a lot of places where if you have the little stack in your yard with the mushroom cap, it sticks above the ground. Sometimes it get hit by a mower, things like that. If you think yours has been hit or if it's tilted, give us a call. We'd like to come out and look at it. That's something that we can fix. Again, if you're in the maintenance program, we have to dig it up. It would be covered. But sometimes a lot of it is just something that could be done hand digging right around the top of it that we would do under the maintenance program free of charge.
Okay.
And also the folks that have what they call the Philly style vents, which are the slotted lids that live in the sidewalk, that are flush with the sidewalk.
And they have like
Little rigid, yes, yes. We're going around and replacing a lot of those because some of them are in areas where they take a lot of water during the rain. So we're going around and we're putting a cover on the back of those so that they don't take as much water, but they still do what they're supposed to do.
Let's talk about that. The I&I, when we had our water and sewer, and how important that is with the rainwater getting into the sewer system.
Right, right. Rainwater.
I'm
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. And then again on that, and I know you had a program where people pump their basements into the sewer lines.
Correct.
Why don't you touch on all of that?
Yeah, what we had was, there's two things that people need to know about their sewer line, and that is that it's for your sewer, it's not for water. Your sanitary sewer. For your laundry, for your toilets, for your sinks, it's not for your sump pump. And it's not for rainwater to get in. Some people go out in their yard and they take the top off and drain their yard if they get a lot of flooding. And a lot of times it's in areas where the drainage is not great and they don't have really any other alternatives, so they pump it into the sanitary sewer. The problem with that is twofold. One, it overloads the system and it causes sanitary sewer overflows downstream that could be anywhere near creeks and things like that and then end up polluting the water. And then secondarily, the extra water that is getting into the line has to go to a treatment plant and be treated. And you're paying basically a premium to treat sanitary sewer, and then when you add groundwater that's not sewer, you're paying to treat it at a high cost.
Let me explain that, because we were in the business, so I understand all of it. When all of this goes into a line and it goes into Philadelphia, then it gets metered.
Correct.
It gets metered when it goes in there. So it's not like it's just flowing down these lines and nobody knows about it.
No, that's correct.
Bucks County has to pay for the water that goes into the Phillies treatment plant.
That's correct.
Because it's metered,
On
correct?
a gallon basis,
Yeah,
yes. Yes.
that's right. Now, and that'll lead us into something else, John, that new storage tank down on State Road.
Right. We call the Pequessing Storage Tank.
Okay,
Yes.
why don't you talk about that?
Yes,
and its purpose.
That basically is what's basically a retention tank, and what it's used for is when we have severe weather, where we have a lot of flooding, especially down in the State Road area, this will allow for that water that does get into the system to be diverted out of the sanitary system and into this 2 million gallon storage tank to be basically held and aerated, which, for lack of a better term, we call keeping it fresh. So you don't get any odors or anything like that. It keeps it until the storm subsides, the flow in the sanitary line subsides to the normal levels, and then we will drain back slowly all that excessive rainwater down into the system. The benefit is it does not cause surging and sanitary sewer overflows, and two, it'll allow for the flow to be spread out over a long period of time so it doesn't overload any of the pump stations, and it makes it easier for Philadelphia and their treatment plant to handle the flow spread out over a long period of time rather than a big wash all at one time.
And hopefully it'll take a lot of those flooded areas, right?
Correct. What we'll end up doing is the flooding itself that's not getting into the system obviously is still going to
No,
be
of
there.
course.
But what does get in, a lot of that will be able to be diverted so that it reduces the flow going to the city when we have the rain event. And again, it's the sanitary sewer overflows that primarily that we were trying to stop. And this will take care of that issue with where we send our flow to Philadelphia.
Now, and I know at the time it was a little bit controversial, a lot of which they had concerns, which was legitimate, and
Right.
we all went and had meetings, all kind of meetings. And I think if you ride down there today, I think it's going to be operational.
It is operational now as we speak. Yes, we
It's
just haven't had a
operational.
big rain event for it to be utilized.
And the second part of that is you'll probably still see a little bit of it because you're doing all the work that has to be done around it, all the landscaping
Right.
and berms.
That'll be done as the weather gets better.
Yeah, and that's not done yet. So it appeared to me, I seen the one side is high berm on the back end of it. So if that's going to be, kind of all around, nobody's going to see that.
Right.
I'm serious when you go down there. So it looks like you've doing a great job down there.
I appreciate that.
And
when all the trees come in over the next probably 6 months to 8 months, you really will, it'll almost blend into the background.
Yeah, and that was important for everybody, the people that live around it, and certainly for our community. So
Absolutely.
So it looks like it's going to work real well, and certainly those folks down there, especially, they had a pumping station that
Right.
was always overflowing.
Right.
Hopefully, that's not going to happen.
That should alleviate that whole issue as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So that's great news. That when that is done. Something on a storm we talk about. You haven't had a event lately. Well, we had one not too long ago.
Right.
In Mayflower over there. The creek
Yes.
Behind the road of Mayflower, what we call that area, and the pipe was actually across with it went across this tributary,
Right.
and it was actually filled in and had two concrete piers, I guess, on each side.
Correct.
Well, it came and it washed that whole thing out.
Correct.
It actually washed it out. And I know we went through heck up there, and those folks over there, they were pumping it from one place to the other. Then they got it kind of settled where they got the hoses off the main line.
Right.
And now, this week, as we speak, I think,
They are starting to reconnect and recorrect that whole problem.
that whole
Yeah.
area.
The biggest issue there was because of, as you talked about, the washout that occurred, the area is very steep. So we had to take care in exactly how we put back what was there, and as opposed to putting back 100 feet of corrugated pipe, after talking with the township and with our engineers, we opted for a culvert. And that's basically what's going back in there, a large box culvert. The line will go across it, and then everything will be restored so that that whole area still is stable, but the line has support, and the stream, the tributary, still has a place to flow.
Yeah, a pretty big job.
It is. It's a very big job.
It's amazing. I look back and think I wasn't here when they constructed that, but the way it was constructed, I think it was only, what, a 12-inch line? Or
I forget what it
18
was. It
something.
wasn't very large. It was definitely
No.
undersized for what it was
Yeah.
carrying, yes.
went from one side of the valley to the other and just took that right out, that
Yep.
whole area. So Thank God that's being,
Yeah, that'll be taken care of shortly.
yeah, that was kind of a crisis there for a while.
It was. We weren't sure how to approach it just because of the logistics and really how it was put together
Yeah.
originally. Yeah.
Yeah, that was done by Ben Salem
Yeah.
back in the 70s, I
Yeah,
guess,
and that
right?
was probably long before you had stream regulations and
Oh,
stuff where, that you
goodness.
do now, so.
Yeah, you don't have those little turtles,
No.
the strange turtles that we don't
Right,
see anymore.
right.
But yeah, that's one thing. One of the important things I want you to talk about is there's no question about water and sewer is expensive, but it's something I think that people have control over some of it and how you do it and how you control. Why don't you talk about conservation and how to conserve as much of that as we can?
Absolutely. Conservation is very important. If folks would just look at their daily usage of water, they can find places where they can shave off a little bit here and there. A big thing is, when you're when you're brushing your teeth, don't let the water run the whole time you're brushing your teeth. It's just water that gets wasted. When you turn on your shower, try to limit the amount of time you let the water warm up or cool down, whatever the case may be, so that you can minimize the amount of water you use during a shower.
I know every morning I go over to my daughters and visit the boys and the family, right? They live right next door. And the screaming that goes on when one of them's in the shower.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Get
hot
ready,
water, yeah.
Get ready for school, boy. I'll tell you what. My daughter screams, I'm jumping out of that because they do. I mean, come on. Young teenagers and all, they think that's their private swimming pool.
Absolutely. If you can get your teenagers to, I have a 17-year-old, so if you can get your teenagers to limit their showers, that makes a big difference. And then in the springtime and the summertime, the other big issue is watering. And there's nothing wrong with watering your lawn, especially if you had some landscaping done or something like that. But the biggest thing is when you do it. The best times are basically early in the morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. or in the afternoon after about 5 o'clock to about 8 o'clock. That way you get maximum soaking of the water into the ground and less evaporation. Because if you do it in the middle of the day when the sun's at its brightest, you're losing a tremendous amount of water.
John, you're talking to an old farmer who used to irrigate, and
so you understand what I'm talking about.
Most of that was done all night long.
Right, exactly.
And,
if you could do it overnight, that's even better.
Yeah, most of that, that's when we got the most out of it. I mean, not just economically, but you'd put twice as much water during the day as you would at night.
Right, absolutely. And we offer a program for our water customers. I don't know if Aqua does. I'm sure they do. Is a deduct meter if you have a built-in irrigation system at your home. That way, if it's being used for irrigation, it can be deducted from your usage and then again deducted from your sewer bill because it's not going down the sewer.
It's not going
Correct.
down the sewer.
Right.
Yeah. One of the other things we talked about was vent repairs, and that's, I guess that we kind of covered that already.
Yeah,
So,
basically, if you think your vent stack in your yard has been hit or it looks damaged or if your cap's missing, call us. We'll come take care of it. That's something that we offer. And again, the maintenance program will cover that as well. But if it's just a cap or if it looks like it's leaning, we'd like to look at it.
Yeah. We had a water main break here this morning. Not yours, of course.
I heard that on the news this morning. Yes, on Ben Salem Boulevard.
On Ben Salem Boulevard. So these things happen.
They do.
There's an inconvenience, but there's nothing you can do. They work on those things as quickly as possible. You still have some main water lines going through Ben Salem?
We do. We still have transmission mains that come through Ben Salem that work their way up towards Route 13 and then up Ben Salem Boulevard towards the Gibson Road area. And then from there it gets pumped into Middletown and up towards Siles, Lower South, that kind of area. And they're transmission mains.
Right.
So basically Aqua has all the residential stuff in Ben Salem. We just have the big pipe that runs through the middle.
Run through. Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to conserve water today. It's one of the most, I don't know, it's a privilege to have it, number one. I mean, to get it there, it's not like the old days that everything looked like it was free. You had it coming out of your faucet, you had a well, and took care of a pump. Those days are gone here in Ben Salem. And I'm sure there's some wells around Bucks County, but they're not here.
No, and you're right. Conservation is very, very important. And honestly, because especially not just with conservation, but water is a finite resource. And now with additional regulation that comes out on a regular basis, the cost of providing water gets more expensive. So the more we can conserve the better off everybody's going to be.
You know, I'll tell you a couple things that we try to do. And I mean, fill your dishwasher. Make sure it's all full before you turn it on.
Absolutely.
A half a dishwasher, and then wait. You know, I mean, you're just wasting water. Your washer's the same thing. Your clothing. I mean, you're just throwing a couple pieces in. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, water's expensive. There's no question about it. It's a commodity that's not going to be cheap. It's never going to be cheap. As regulations go up and there's more and more things that have to be done, and to conserve it and to make sure that we have water, what else is there? You could not live without water.
That's absolutely correct.
So we want to do the best we can to conserve that. And John, I'm going to give you the last word. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
I would just reiterate that we have the new lateral maintenance program that covers water and sewer laterals, and that if anybody is interested, please, we'll give you the information. It's a program that will save you money, and it benefits us in the long run because it helps to improve the system overall. Take advantage of it. It's worth every penny.
Okay, and again, you can call, email, website. They're all over. They've got everything that you can work with. John, also as a friend, I thank
you
you
very
for
much.
being
I appreciate
here.
it. It's always good to
And,
come to Penn Sales.
Yeah, and you've been here many, many times, and you'll be here again.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
They're here every day working. I thank you a lot.
Thank you very much.
And for the great job that you do, and Ben Jones up there, and you have a lot of great employees, so we thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, John. Good being with you. Until next time, everybody, God bless.
Who says you can't go home? Who says you can't